That's one of the things in our country. We did the inverse of everything that you would want to do if you wanted to reduce deaths in a pandemic. We told people there's no treatment. What respiratory illness in history, if you go to the hospital sick, that the doctor says, go home till your lips are blue and you can't breathe, and come back and we'll give you intubation and remdesivir, two things that are almost certain to kill you. And you go home and you spread it to your family. That was the prescription. And guess what? This is a disease we knew from the beginning that spreads indoors. It doesn't spread outdoors, and yet we locked everybody in. It kills people who are obese. There was a 29-pound average weight gain from Tony Fauci locking us all in our house. He never told us, take vitamin D, take zinc, things that we knew were good against coronavirus. Instead, where I live, they sent people down to the beach, cops, to give $1,000 tickets to surfers who are out on the ocean, who are healthy, who have no vulnerability to COVID, and who are doing what you want to do, which is be in the sunlight and get saturated with vitamin D. And they told them, go home and lock yourself indoors. In poor communities like Compton, like Denver, like Harlem and Bed-Stuy, the cops and the Parks Department went to the basketball courts and padlocked them in poor communities. And in places where they couldn't padlock them, they cut off the basketball net. Here in Venice, right down the street, the Parks Department went down there and poured sand in the skate park so the skaters couldn't. So they locked everybody in their houses, which is where this thing spreads. They denied them early treatment that we know works from ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. They gave them deadly treatments when they got to the hospital, like remdesivir, which is absolutely a killer. And it kills with the same symptoms that COVID does. And, we told people to do things that they just, if you really wanted to protect public health, the last thing, we didn't do what we should have done, which is to use, Tony Fauci's relationship with all these internet companies to create an international grid that hooked all of the 15 million frontline physicians from around the world into a grid where people could say, I'm in Bangladesh, I'm treating COVID, and here's what's working for me. Right. I'm in Buenos Aires, I'm treating it, here's what's working. And then use the genius that we have in Silicon Valley. And with AI to integrate and to distill and interpret those kind of results, see what's working around the world, and then have a daily update to physicians all over the United States and elsewhere about what's working in treatment of the disease. There was no, if you were a physician and you said, this is what's working, it's not vaccines, it's this, you were censored, you were shut down, the licensing boards went after your license. And, the only indicia of deteriorating public health and the social deterioration that actually improved during COVID was child abuse in our country. The levels of reported child abuse dropped dramatically. Why is that? It wasn't because they actually dropped. It's because most child abuse is reported in the schools. And when the schools were shut down, those kids were locked in the homes with their abusers. And that was our solution. The Brown University study shows that shutting the schools was a cataclysm for American children. American young children lost, on average, 22 IQ points on standardized tests. 22 IQ points. A third of children are going to require remedial reading. Many children, because of the masks, children learn, we now know, and this is obvious from the beginning, by they learn to speak and to interpret language by looking at facial expressions and looking at the way that you leave your mouth. Now, all of these kids had masks on, their teachers had masks on, their parents had masks on, and they didn't learn it. So you have a whole generation of kids that are language delayed, speech delayed. And, the suicide rates are off the chart. 55% of Black children contemplated suicide. 55% of teenagers reported abuse. 11% of them physical abuse. Some 30% of kids reported experiencing hunger in America. This is what Tony Fauci did to us. Wow. This was his public health solution, was to just destroy. It was a war on the poor. It was a war on people of color. It was a war on all of our values.
The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.